1980s was a decade worthy of its name. It stood for a span of time with a unifying, coherent philosophy, which we all more or less shared. In the 80s, it was morning in America.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works.
And morning in America sounded good, but proved to be a false dawn, fueled by junk bonds and government debt. And when the market crashed, the junk dealers on Wall Street began to look a lot like the crack entrepreneurs, devastating the inner cities. The 1980s, a huge U-turn for a lot of people, and a descent into a crack cocaine-induced nightmare from which many will never awake. Something happened in America in the 1980s, something not yet fully understood, but seen in outline by almost everyone. The growth of a multi-billion-dollar drug trade with the power to create narco-democracies everywhere its tentacles spread. And they spread a lot of places, even here. In the land where the palm trees kiss the tangerine sunsets 365 days in a row, Los Angeles, California. So we begin our story of the drugging of America here in Los Angeles. Hello, and welcome to Conspiracy, The Secret History. My name is Daniel Hopsicker, and I'll be your guide tonight on our journey to the secret heartbeat of America. We're in Los Angeles because what happened in Los Angeles happened in hundreds of other American cities in the 80s. But because it's Los Angeles, it happened bigger. Everything is bigger here. The money, the cars, the houses, the drugs, especially the drugs. Until recently, Los Angeles looked to many observers like the capital of the future. Then drugs began to destroy whatever social stability existed here. Admittedly, never much. This is a company town, a factory town, the manufacturing home of America's second leading export, the moving word, movies. Then crack came to town and everything changed. The results are everywhere around us. Every one of these faces is an MIA in the longest and most costly war this country has ever fought. A war that's already lasted twice as long as Vietnam. A war that cost us way over $16 billion a year, even though nobody thinks we've got a prayer of winning it. Of course, the name of this war is as familiar to every American as the names of our family, friends, and neighbors that have been lost in it. It's called the war on drugs. Tonight we're going to see evidence that it just might be an utter sham. Since crack came to town in the middle 80s, there have been persistent reports that the Contras and the CIA were somehow involved in it. So we begin our story about drugs in the American way in an unlikely place, here in San Jose, California, with the controversial series Dark Alliance, the story behind the crack explosion in the San Jose Mercury News, written by Gary Webb. His series linked the explosive growth in the market for crack cocaine to the shadowy funding of the Contras back in the middle 80s. Remember? Iran-Contra, selling guns to the Ayatollah?
Incentives to make that February transaction work. And the attractive incentive for me was the one he made, that residuals could flow to support the Nicaraguan resistance.